Good morning and welcome to the Third Rock. This video is a YA story on how it's good to carry yourself a certain way and have a certain type of mentality. Don't accept things from certain people, and how all that put in one bag, it opens doors and it makes people gravitate to you when you don't ask for help, when you don't ask for anything. How people look at you in a certain way compared to others, because there's always somebody watching. So they send me up north, hundreds and hundreds of miles away from my house, from where I'm used to, where I grew up at, and we're pretty much outnumbered. And I think when I was in Sacramento, there was like five Southsiders, and everybody else was from up north. We were just outnumbered, and then they ended up sending me to Stockton. Cottonmouth. They ended up sending me to Stockton, and then when I got to Stockton, it was a lot worse, because they sent me right next to Chad, and to a violators dorm. But we were outnumbered, and everybody there, they were pretty much older cats. I was 15, I believe. Tupac had not, he was gonna pass that summer, and I watched that shit on TV. So we were in Larson dorm. It was receiving, and the halls are shaped like a V, so like a Y shape. So there's like a V, and then there's a booth in the middle, and then there's a long hallway. So the guard can stay in the middle of the booth, and he can look down all hallways. You know, he can turn this way and see down these two hallways, or he can turn this way and look down this hallway. And then he can always be in the booth, locked in there for safety. So anyhow, I had 5 bulldogs. This is when the bulldogs were breaking away from the northern faction. And so there was a few bulldogs that didn't talk to anybody. They were going through a lot of stuff, you know. There's a lot of history. And they weren't down with the changes, because they had tattoos on their faces and stuff. Anyhow, I met a lot of amazing, cool vatos from Fresno and from all over that area that are bulldogs. They're really good people. And I've never met one that did me wrong or to come at me like they were better than anybody. That's what I really liked about them. They had a real good, they had a really cool aura about them, in my opinion. And anyhow, so that's all I had really as for backup. But at one time, for about 30, 40 days, I didn't have anybody. But these 2 white cats that were there, one was named Tigger. He went by Tigger. He was from Vallejo, California. He was like 16. And there was a cat named Chris. And he kind of had like reddish hair. And he was from Fresno. And they both had different types of cases for murder. And but they were there going to YA. And I was an M number, so I had an out date. I was going to get out at a specific date no matter what. Even if I got in a freaking fight, I still was going to get out on this day, because the judge said, because I was tried as an adult. They were trying to send me to prison as a kid. But anyhow, I made my way to YA, and it was a privilege for them to let me be there at that young of age, because something happened down south in a different prison later on that year, and they were going to ship all us M numbers out to prison because of something that someone did 700 miles away in a different institution that had nothing to do with us. And anyhow, that's a different story. So after some time, me surviving there alone, then white cats kept telling me, you know, we got your back, safety, we got your back, don't you worry about it. I said, no, I'm cool, man. I'm not gonna, what I gotta do alone. I'm a Southsider, and when you're young, you think you're fucking invincible until something happens. You got 20 motherfuckers on you. So anyhow, I'm like I said, I'm there for a long time, and I don't get in any fights. And I was the main cook in my thing. And the way the kitchen was set up, there was like one big dining room, and then like in the center, people put the trays in it, and it lets all the it's like a conveyor belt, and it sends all the trays to the back. And then on this side there's another dining room, and there's 8 different prisons, like 8 different compas, 8 different little camps in one big prison. And in my dorm, I was the only Southsider in my dorm out of 200 people. Every dorm had 200 people. And I fed half of that, half of 200 times 8, whatever the hell the number is. And like 800 people or something like that. And plus the guards. And I had me a little crew, like a 4-man crew. Sometimes there were black people, sometimes there were white people, sometimes there were Mexicans. And I got paid 25 cents. No, 15 cents an hour. 15 cents an hour is what we got paid back then in the 90s. And as a kid and being locked up. So it came out to like $30, maybe $31 a month. And it was just enough to get hygiene and a box of noodles, and a little bit of goodies. And anyhow, so there was this cat named Smurf. He was very lucky. He had 2 of his brothers. I guess you would say it's lucky. I don't know if it's luck or not. Just plain ignorance. It's nothing to brag about. But 2 of his real life brothers were locked up at the same time, and they all hit DeWitt all at the same time. They were just in Sierra. We were in Larson, and Smurf was the same size as I was, and I'm sitting there in the dining room, and the sun was coming up. We had just got done serving breakfast. I did half of the institution, served them all breakfast, and everybody's cleaning up, and I'm thinking, man, I want to fight somebody. And right before this happened, this happened. So there was these 3 other guys. One was really, really super short. He was so short, it was like 3 feet tall. And there was another guy named Avenal or something like that. They all hung out together. And one more other cat. There was like 4 of them. And there were so many Norteños. They had different little groups in that one dorm, because there were just so many of them. They were even fighting amongst themselves. It was really weird. And anyhow, there was only these 2 white cats and me. There was no Mexican, no Southsiders, and nobody on my side. I was riding solo. No Bulldogs were there yet. And later on, I got Beltran from San Bernardino, and then he left, and then I got me a group of people. But anyhow, let me finish this story first. There's a lot of stories. So I see Smurf in the back, because he's working in the back. And I say, hey, Smurf, let me get at you, neighbor. And he's a Norteño. I go, check it out, bro. I came to Hawaii thinking I was going to, they call it gladiator school, and everybody's gated all this hype. And I go, I haven't got active this whole time I've been here. I've been here like 6 months. And he's like, well, what do you try to say? He got like pawed, like surprised. I said, well, you're the same size as I am. And I want to work out, you know what I'm saying? And he said, what? What, Safety? I said, yeah, let's leave red and blue out of it. We don't got to fucking challenge it. I ain't got to challenge anybody, I ain't got to say, hey, mean homeboy, mean old boy. We slaying them guns. Long as you keep your mouth shut, I keep my mouth shut. You wanna go behind the gators? And he swear, bro, he was gonna keep red and blue out of it, man. We, as men, we're the same size. I was not bigger than him, and he wasn't bigger than me. And we had this big machine in the back, and it kind of, you could block it, and there's a little mirror, but you could pretty much handle business back there. Standing up. You don't need to be on your knees or none of that bullshit stories that they tell you. And it was actually, a pretty intense institution, even though it was a violators dorm. There was a lot of violence. Anyhow, we went 3 rounds. I knocked him down one time. Just once. And then he hit me, and he got me real good right in the fucking mouth. And I had maybe about as big as mine. No, it wasn't that big. He got me good, but there was a real dark purple fucking, it almost looked like a little square on my lip. It pissed me off. It wasn't busted. He didn't bust my lip, but it was purple. It was so weird. I was like, how did he not bust my lip, but it's a fucking purple doctor? It was like, someone's gonna see that shit, because it's really purple. And it wasn't big, but it wasn't small. I can't explain it. It was smaller than my pinky for sure. And I think I blacked his eye just a little. Just a little. Like his eye had like a little black line, like a green line or something, a blue line. And we went 3 rounds. And I tightened him up pretty good. It was pretty decent, He got a hit on, and I knocked him down once. And he got up, he went his way. We didn't shake hands or anything. And like I said, he had these other 3 guys that always followed him around. But he had 2 brothers that were in Sierra waiting for him to go there. And I had only these 2 white cats, Chris and Tigger, Richmond and Fresno. And they were working with me. They were like, one was my second cook, and the other one was something else. I guess a bus or something. I can't remember, because I had a 5-man crew. And that fool went and ran his fucking mouth. And so there was so much tension. There was so much drama. And his buddies weren't too happy about it. You know what I mean? They kept they wanted to do something. He was telling them, no, it's cool. And for some reason, a lot of them, I don't know why they didn't rush me. I didn't know why they were trying to put pressure on me. So trip out. The homie Grumps for 18th Street, he was in a different dorm already, and Casper from something up north by Vallejo. Casper wasn't really tripping, but there was one dorm, Sierra, didn't have no homies in it, and we didn't have nobody there. One dorm had like 5. That's against like 200 souls. Think about it. And then the blacks rode with the Norteños. It was just a whole different other world. Whatever prison you go to, you might as well just be in a different world. And Grunts pulled me to the side. They let me go talk to him back in the sandwich crew. And he was there with all the OGs. And when I mean OG, 21, 19, 22. These guys were so big. They were bigger than some of the grown men that I know today. And they grew up in YA. They had arms. Their fucking arms were bigger than my skull. I was like, motherfucker, man, how you guys get so fucking big? And they've never been to prison, mind you. They've only been to YA. And Big Grump, because they were calling me Little Grumps and shit at that time. And he goes, hey, Little Grumps, man, I can't have you out there being wild. The homies over here got it bad. And he told me, he said, hey, man, whatever you do over there in Larson reflects. It's like a ripple. It'll ripple through the institution. And the homies over there in Tahoe are gonna have it bad. And there's only so many homies over here, and I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, Grumps. because you know, you're young and this and that. I was like, and I wasn't really about all that. I was just trying to, you know, stretch my wings out, you know. But he told me, you know, you're doing good over there by yourself. Fuck. You know, we hear about you, that we get a report on you every day. I was like, wow, you know, like I said, you never know who's watching. And it could be the cops reporting to them too. So anyhow, I'm in there in Larson and DeWitt holding it down solo for the South Side. That's real talk. And this is 96. And I toss it down with this cat named Smurf from San Jose in the back. And I don't mean no disrespect to San Jose. I love San Jose. Used to work up there in Newbie Island, Galaxy, and Frank's Bar. I love you guys, everybody. You guys are so great to me. Got a lot of love for San Jose. Really good people out there. And anyhow, these guys had a lot of attitude because there was a lot of them. And they used to try to bring me cigarettes and stuff. And of course, I couldn't accept anything from them. And anyhow, it's a different other story. So look, so his homeboys, that guy Smurf's homeboys that were in Larson, they felt a certain kind of way. Because, you know, there's obviously like 100 or 200 of them and only one of me. They couldn't let this happen. And there's two of them that were bigger than me. One was my size and one was smaller. He was only like 3 feet tall. And it was a weird combination. And so anyhow, the white boys come up to me, Chris and Tigger. They say, hey man, there's word that, you know, that these guys they're going to want to do something to you, bro. They're not going to let that, they're like, safety, you know they're going to do something to you. He goes, you know what, I think they are. They keep looking at me a certain way and shit. They keep making comments. But Smurf ain't got no problems with it. You know, I didn't beat him down. You know what I mean? It was a pretty good, fair little fight. We got an exercise on. He should have just kept his mouth shut. You know, I'm kind of upset about that, you know. And, yeah, it's all good. And he goes, but the two white guys but don't worry, man, we got you. And I kept telling him, listen, man, you got life. You got this. If you fuck up the parole board, you know, they're going to keep you another year, and you have to wait for your annual. Because it's different than me. I have a date. You guys don't. And I don't want you guys going down for what I did, for my stupidity, for something I did, or for anything I do. You guys don't owe me nothing. Tigger and Chris, if you guys are still alive, it's been like 40 fucking years, 45 years. If you're still alive, man, I hope you guys are doing well. And anyhow, so when we go to the kitchen the next day, I think it was a Sunday or Saturday, we serve all that stuff, and sure enough, they get word. These guys want to fucking speak to me. So the white boys come up to me, and we're in the kitchen now, right? And so I have my 5-man crew, and they have a 5-man crew. But that doesn't mean they're Southsiders. They're not gonna fight for me. I'm riding solo. So Chris and Tigger come up to me and they go, check it out, safety. They're gonna come over here. Avenal. I can't remember the guy's fucking name. But there was pretty much 4 guys. It was gonna be 4 on 1. It was gonna be 3 on 1. There was 3 of them. The shortest one, the one who was bigger than me, and one who was my size. And the 3 amigos, they were gonna jump me. And right there in front of my grill, they're gonna get me right in front of the dining room. And there's the grill, and it was all dark. Nobody was there because everybody's in the back working, and everybody went back to the institution. So that's where they were gonna jump me, where the doors swing open, where you go back to the kitchen where you start cleaning. Right where my grill is, where I cook, my workspace. And I told the white boys specifically, I said, listen here, homeboys, this is my shit. I got myself into this shit. I'm going to handle this shit my own. You let me do my own shit. I swear on my shadow, on my life, I told these guys this. And they go, okay, safety. And I walk through the door. And there they are. The 3 Norteños are right there. and they're about to fucking start saying something, right? And I say, hey, before you guys fucking start, let me tell you something, motherfuckers. And I went off on them. I said, what happened between me and Smurf was between me and Smurf. It had nothing to do with North and South. It had nothing to do with blue and red. It had nothing to do with none of that shit. Y'all trying to blow it up because you guys are fucking bored. Y'all ain't got nothing to fucking do. He was supposed to keep his mouth shut as a fucking man. You know what I mean? We had an agreement. Now y'all just want to look for problems because there's more of you than me. And I went off on him. And I went from 1 to 1. You little short bastard. You motherfucker. You bald-headed motherfucker. And I just went off on them like I was their dad. And I'm not exaggerating at all. I was cussing and everything. I said, you want to fight? Let's fight right now, motherfuckers. And I said, but other than that, it had nothing to do with you guys. And don't be trying to blow up the whole institution because what me and one other man did, you want everybody else to get in trouble over something that nobody's bitching or crying about it just because you feel a certain way. That fool ain't crying looking for revenge. He ain't here trying to fight me. He don't want to fight again. Not that he's scared. You know, it was a one thing just for the fucking fun of it, bro, on a weekend, homeboy. You know, I didn't stomp him out. I didn't stab him or anything. You know, he hit me in the fucking mouth. He got his. I think it was pretty decent. I might have, might have got one on him, you know what I mean? He knocked him down once. You know what I mean? But I went off on him. And they fucking shut up. All three of them fucking Norteños kept their fucking mouth shut. So you guys want to do something? Do something now. Do it right now, you motherfucking cowards. They didn't do shit. It's okay. It's squashed it. Let it go. Right? And I felt like I was fucking King Kong, like I'm the biggest man in the fucking universe, right? Do you know I fucking turn around and there are those two fucking white boys, fucking the Richmond and fucking Fresno. There's Fresno and Richmond standing with their arms crossed. These two fucking white dudes, bro. Standing right behind me the whole fucking time. The whole time I thought I walked in there alone to battle. I thought I was going into battle all alone. These fucking two ghosts refused my orders. They fucking refused my fucking orders. And they would not let me go to battle. And it had nothing to do with them. It had nothing to... They were all going to catch extra time for it. I couldn't. They could. And they put their life on the line for me. You know? And... Man, Chris and Tigger, man, if you guys ever hear this, man, God bless you. I owe you one. And, anyhow, you never know who's watching. You know, because there's always somebody watching you. And I didn't ask those two gentlemen for nothing. But whatever I did, the way I walked, the way I carried myself, they respected it. They weren't even my skin color. They were white. They were white. They weren't Mexican. They weren't black. And I have a story too of a black man that rode for me when my own color wouldn't ride for me. So I have a lot of crazy stories like this. So just remember, somebody's always watching. And it pays to have a good character and carry yourself a certain way, because whether it's good or bad energy, it always feeds off. I didn't have no help, but I wasn't afraid. My courage is contagious, I guess, sometimes. And it made them men brave, too, to want to fucking die for me. Put their life on the line for me. Some people are so broke, all they have is money, right? See, there's something right there you can't buy with money. Do me a favor, pond jumpers. Try not to cast any stones on your walk on the third rock. We're all people of color. We all have a shadow. We're all people under the sun. Till next time, safety out.